Good evening, folks. Welcome to another edition of Pro Wrestling Talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram, coming at you here on the U to the Tube. First off, I do apologize for bringing this video late. It's been a long week. It's been a long week trying to catch up on everything. I know I missed quite a bit, so had to catch up on a whole bunch of stuff. Not only that, I went to the WWE Supershow show in Charlotte, North Carolina this past Saturday, so I'll talk about that some. But we got a lot to talk about tonight. We got Stardom. We have New Japan Pro Wrestling. We got a lot of stuff going on in AEW. Got stuff going on in WWE as we're getting closer to SummerSlam and NXT TakeOver 36. So we got a lot to talk about. So first off, we're gonna talk some Stardom. Gonna do a recap. Pardon me. Ooh. Bear with me. Throat's a little groggy. Gonna do a recap of the current standings for the 5-Star Grand Prix. And also, Unagi Sayaka defended her Future of Stardom championship against Mai Sakurai. So, Future Stardom championship match. It was actually pretty good. This was Mai Sakurai's first match in Stardom. And you know what? She showed some things. She showed some pretty good offense. But ultimately, Unagi Sayaka did get the victory. Got her in that hangman sort of choke. Kind of similar to how like the Widow's Peak looks. And was able to make Mai Sakurai submit. Afterwards, Unagi Sayaka got on the mic. It's like, hey, her first successful Future Stardom title defense. Also said some good points about Mai Sakurai. And then Mai Sakurai asked if she could join Cosmic Angels. Yeah. Unagi Sayaka was very reluctant. She didn't think she earned her way into Cosmic Angels. But Tam Nakano, the leader, came in along with Mina Shirakawa, and they actually encouraged Mai Sakurai only if she promises to never give up, to keep pushing forward, and that she can join Cosmic Angels, which she agreed to. And bam, ladies and gentlemen, you have your 4th member of Cosmic Angels, Mai Sakurai. So, it'll definitely be interesting to see how this now 4-member unit does going forward. I mean, Mai Sakurai, which honestly, it doesn't surprise me. I do feel like Cosmic Angels would be the best fit for her. I know Unagi mentioned Donna Del Mundo and Queen's Quest. Queen's Quest, no. Donna Del Mundo, no. Cosmic Angels definitely was the best fit for Mai Sakurai. A lot of people probably would say Stars could have been a potential fit, but I think it was time. I think it was time for Cosmic Angels to have a 4th member. Not necessarily that they needed a 4th member, but being that, you know, a lot has been going on with the other factions, it would have been it's nice to see, you know, something going down with Cosmic Angels that changes the landscape. And now they have a 4th member, so kudos to Mai Sakurai, the newest member of Cosmic Angels. Now, Let's take a look at the 5-Star Grand Prix current standings. So, for the Red Stars, the red block, we got Himeka and Fukigen Def at 0 points. Himeka still hasn't wrestled yet. Unfortunately, they had to cancel the August, I believe it was the August 14th and 15th shows, unfortunately, due to potential COVID outbreak. But Himeka still hasn't wrestled yet in this tournament. Fukigen Def has 0 points, where she has lost 2 of her matches against Starlight Kid and against Mina Shirakawa. So Fukigen Def not starting off too well. Saki Kashima, Momo Watanabe, and Koguma, all 3 ladies have 2 points. Saki Kashima, she's beaten Julia, but she's lost to Starlight Kid and Mina Shirakawa. Momo Watanabe, she has beaten Mayu Iwatani, but lost to Natsupoi. So those were her only 2 matches so far. Koguma, she has beaten Natsupoi, but's lost to Julia. So she's only had 2 matches. Alrighty. Natsupoi has 3 points. She's the only one on the red side with 3 points. Natsupoi, she has a victory over Momo Watanabe, but she's lost to Mayu Iwatani and Koguma, and she's had a time limit draw with Starlight Kid. So, of course, a draw gives you 1 point. A win is 2 points, a loss is 0, a draw is 1. So, Natsupoi has the 1 draw. So, she is 1-2-1 so far. All right. Julia, Mayu Iwatani, and Mina Shirakawa have 4 points. Julia, she has beaten Mayu Iwatani, she's beaten Saki Kashima. No, I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Julia has beaten Starlight Kid and Koguma, but lost to Saki Kashima and Mayu Iwatani. So Julia is 2-2 so far. Mayu Iwatani, she has beaten Julia and has beaten Natsupoi, but has lost to Momo Watanabe. So she's currently 2-1 right now. And Mina Shirakawa definitely hanging in there, showing some strength, as she is 2-0 right now with wins against Saki Kashima and Fukigen Def. Those are her only 2 matches right now, but Mina Shirakawa undefeated right now in this tournament. So, gotta give props to her, a former Future of Stardom champion, currently 1/3 of the Artist of Stardom Trios champions. And leading the Red Stars, the red block, is Starlight Kid. That's right. She has 2 victories over Fukigen Def and Saki Kashima. She did lose to Julia, and she has a draw with Natsupoi. So she is 2-1-1 to give herself 5 points in this tournament. So she is at the top of the Red Stars for now. How long will she stay there? Remains to be seen, but she's in the lead. All right, let's look at the Blue Stars. So, Blue Block. Right now, Takumi Iroha and Ruoka both have 0 points. Takumi Iroha still hasn't had a match yet. Ruoka, unfortunately, is 0-2. She's lost to Tam Nakano and Maika. So, not a good start for Ruoka. Konami and Azumi. This is kind of surprising. Azumi and Konami both have 2 points. They've been struggling. Konami, she has beaten Unagi Sayaka, but has lost to Tam Nakano and Saya Kamatani. Definitely not normal for Konami, so I hope to see her bounce back. And same thing with Azumi. Azumi has beaten Shuri. That was a big, big victory. She beat Shuri, but she's lost to Unagi Sayaka and Maika. So Azumi's gotten a big win, but 2 big losses as well. So hopefully Azumi can bounce back as well. Let's see. So Saya Kamatani, Utami Hayashishita, Unagi Sayaka, and Shuri. All 4 of these ladies have 4 points. Saya Kamatani, she's 2-2 with victories against Tam Nakano and Konami, but she's lost to Utami Hayashishita and Shuri. So she's 2-2. And then Utami, she's 2-1. So she's beaten Unagi Sayaka and Saya Kamatani, but she's lost to Maika. So 2-1. Let's see. Unagi Sayaka. So she is 2-2 with wins against Tam Nakano and Azumi, but she's lost to Konami and Utami Hayashishita. And then Shuri, my girl, Shuri is 2-1 with victories over Maika, Saya Kamatani, and she lost to Azumi. And then, right at the top 2 of the Blue Stars, Tam Nakano and Maika, both with 6 points. So, looking at Maika, Maika is 3-2 with wins over Utami Hayashishita, Azumi, and Ruoka, but has lost to Tam Nakano and Shuri. And then Tam Nakano, let's see, she is 3-2 with victories over Maika, Konami, and Ruoka, but she's lost to Unagi Sayaka and Saya Kamatani. So, Blue Block is looking pretty close. It's definitely looking pretty close. A lot of ladies with 4 points, 2 at the top with 6 points. It's close in the Blue Block. But I am curious to see what happens once we start seeing Himeka have her matches and Takumi Iroha start having matches. See how they do. And like I said, y'all, we got a ways to go. We got a long ways to go. Like the last day, the finals isn't until I think September 25th. Yeah, September 25th. So we got a long ways to go. So we got more than a month to go to complete this tournament. So still got a lot of wrestling to see. These ladies are doing a great job tearing it up. Probably won't see a whole lot of championship defenses, but 5-star Grand Prix is always exciting to watch. So have to see what happens. Alrighty, that is it for Stardom. Let's look at some New Japan Pro Wrestling. So first I wanted to mention that Chaos, Hiroki Goto, Yoshihashi, and Tomohiro Ishii have made their successful 9th defense of the never openweight 6-man tag titles, defeating LIJ's Bushi Sanada and Tetsuya Naito. And it was an excellent match. Back and forth. It really could have gone either way. I mean, this was a good 30-plus minute match, and it could have gone either way. I was very, very pleased with this match. This match happened during the Summer Struggle August 10th. That was Tuesday. But, man, that's 9 successful defenses from Chaos. And honestly, more and more. This trio could end up being the greatest never openweight 6-man champions of all time. Like, These three are on a roll, and they look freaking unstoppable. Ishii, Goto, Yoshihashi, these three look unstoppable right now. There's no telling what what trio will be able to dethrone them. Only time will tell, but these three are killing it. 9 successful defenses. It's amazing. It's really amazing. Anyway, let's look at the results. Let's look at the standings for the current Super Junior Tag League that's been going on in New Japan Pro Wrestling. All right, let's look at the standings. So right now, both Roppongi 3K and Gato and Dick Togo both have 0 points. Oh, man. Gato and Dick Togo are 0-3 right now, with losses to the team of Robbie Eagles and Tiger Mask, El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and El Phantasmo and Taiji Ishimori. And of course, they still have 2 more matches to get a win. They got they have to face Ryusuke Taguchi and Master Wato on the 16th, and then Roppongi 3K on the 17th. So those are their remaining 2 chances to get points. Then Sho and Yo, they're 0-3. Lost to Tiger Mask and Eagles, Taguchi and Master Wato, and Ishimori and Phantasmo. So they still have to face El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Dick Togo and Gato. But yeah, Roppongi 3K normally, I believe they're 3 or 4-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, and they've been struggling like crazy since losing those tag titles. So I don't know. I got a feeling. They're gonna split soon. Probably after this tournament. They're probably gonna split. It would not surprise me if they went winless and they split after this tournament. Watch and see. I think that's what's gonna happen. Okay. Ryusuke Taguchi and Master Wato have 2 points. So they are 1-2. They have the victory over Roppongi 3K, but have lost to Ishimori and Phantasmo and El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. So their next 2 matches, on the 16th, they go up against Gato and Dick Togo, and then on the 17th, Robbie Eagles and Tiger Mask. El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru have 4 points currently. So they are 2-1. They have beaten Dick Togo and Gato and Ryusuke Taguchi and Master Wato, but they've lost to Tiger Mask and Robbie Eagles. So on the 16th, they'll go up against Roppongi 3K, and on the 17th, they'll go against Phantasmo and Ishimori. And then the teams of Tiger Mask and Robbie Eagles and Taiji Ishimori and El Phantasmo, both of these teams have 6 points. So let's look at Tiger Mask and Robbie Eagles. They are currently undefeated, 3-0, with wins over Roppongi 3K, Gato and Togo, Desperado and Kanemaru. So their next 2 matches, the 16th, they face off against Taiji Ishimori and El Phantasmo. So one of those 2 streak is about to end. And then on the 17th, they'll face Ryusuke Taguchi and Master Wato. And then looking at Phantasmo and Ishimori, who are also 3-0. On the 16th, they will go up against Robbie Eagles and Tiger Mask. 17th, they'll go up against Desperado and Kanemaru. So I'm thinking I mean, El Desperado and Kanemaru still have a shot, but they're gonna need to win out. But they still have a shot, but they gotta win out. But something tells me between Tiger Mask, Robbie Eagles, and Taiji Ishimori and El Phantasmo, one of those two teams is probably gonna win this tag league. But we'll see what happens. But I assume the winner will get a shot at the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, which is held by El Phantasmo and Taiji Ishimori. But those are your standings right now. And then let's talk about Resurgence. New Japan Pro Wrestling Resurgence. Now, I have to say, this was a pretty dang on good card. Now, they had a dark match, which I didn't get a chance to see. Like, I don't know what's up with New Japan Pro World. They don't show dark matches, because they also have dark matches at like other events like Wrestle Kingdom, where they'll have like Stardom, the ladies of Stardom wrestle, but they never show them on their stream. I don't know why they do that, but it's kind of a bummer. But they had a dark match that was Bateman, Mysterioso, and Barrett Brown against the DKC, Kevin Knight, and Jordan Clearwater. Bateman, Mysterioso, and Barrett Brown got the victory in that dark match. And then the first main card match was Carl Fredericks versus Alex Conklin. Of course, both of these two are young lions. And apparently it was an open challenge that Carl Fredericks answered. It was pretty decent, back and forth. These two are very, very good. But Carl Fredericks was able to get the victory with the MD. Match was a little over 10 minutes. But it's good to see these two are growing more and more as they ascend from being young lions. So this is good. This is definitely really good. We had a trios match, which was actually a pretty dang on good trios match, where TJP, Clark Connors, and Ren Narita teamed up to take on Rocky Romero, Fred Rosser, and Wheeler Yuta. So good to see more Wheeler Yuta. That dude's been busy like crazy. But yeah, this was a good back and forth match. I definitely like the showdown between TJP and Wheeler Yuta. Both of these two are pretty similar in styles, if you ask me. So I would love to see those two face each other in a one-on-one match, personally. TJP, Wheeler Yuta, I would love to see a one-on-one match with that. Oh, for sure. I would love to see that. But, sure enough, TJP, Clark Connors, Ren Narita get the victory for their team. But yeah, great match though. Definitely a great match. Third match, we had a 10-man tag match. So we had Team Filthy, made up of Filthy Tom Lawler, J.R. Kratos, Danny Limelight, Jorel Nelson, and Royce Isaacs of the West Coast Wrecking Crew, going against Leo Rush, Chris Dickinson, Fred Yehai, Yu Yu Uemura, and Adrian Quest. Yeah, this was this was a pretty loaded match. Folks were all over the place, as expected, in a 10-man tag match. But it was Yu Yu Uemura getting the victory for his team in this crazy, chaotic match. And of course, this helps give Leo Rush some momentum as it gets close to, his title shot for the NJPW Strong Openweight Championship currently held by Filthy Tom Lawler. He's got that title shot coming up, so should be good. Should be really good. We had a singles match. We had Juice Robinson versus Hikuleo. Match wasn't too long. Not as long as I would have originally thought that it would be. But Juice Robinson got the victory. Got like pretty much it was a reversal into like a victory roll. And was able to get the 1-2-3 on Hikuleo. And of course, Hikuleo attacked him afterwards, laid him out. So he had to get the last laugh. But Juice Robinson on top in this match. This next match was my favorite of the card. Definitely my favorite of the card. We had a singles match. Tomohiro Ishii versus Moose. This match was excellent. An instant classic, if you ask me. Even though it might not have been a 30-minute match, this was excellent. I would love to see these two go at it again. Moose and Tomohiro Ishii, both big bodies, got some similarities in styles, but Moose a lot more athletic. I really like this combination. I really do. I hope they get another match together. I really do. I really like this matchup. And even though Tomohiro Ishii got the victory, got the vertical drop brainbuster, this match could have gone either way. And honestly, I wouldn't have minded seeing Moose being put over and getting the victory. But, still got to keep Tomohiro Ishii pretty strong in the situation, being that he is a champion. But I would love to see these two go at it again. Like, hands down, I would love to see these two go at it. So, we'll see. But definitely my favorite match of Resurgence. And then we had tag team match where the Good Brothers, the Impact World Champions, also the winners of the Tag Team Turbulence tournament, went up against Jon Moxley and his mystery opponent, or his mystery tag team partner, which turned out to be Blue Justice Yuji Nagata. Now, of course, these two have a lot of respect for each other. They wrestled for the IWGP United States Championship, where Jon Moxley defended against Yuji Nagata on AEW. So that was pretty cool. But probably not who a lot of people would have hoped the surprise would be, but I'm cool with it. I like Yuji Nagata. I've met Yuji Nagata, so I'm cool with it. But, of course, Good Brothers were able to get the victory. They were able to take out Yuji Nagata with a magic killer and get the 1-2-3. And, of course, keep in mind, Good Brothers won a shot at the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles. And not only that, they got a little visit from the Gorillas of Destiny. They came into the ring and, kind of challenged the Good Brothers. Of course, the Good Brothers ended up leaving. But, hey, I would love to see these two teams go at it for sure. So I think we can all look forward to seeing that. All right. We had a double main event. Part 1 was the Never Openweight Championship, where Switchblade Jay White defended against Dave Finlay, one half of Finjuice. And this was a great, great match. Back and forth. I mean, you could definitely tell the story that these two were really telling in this match. I mean, just back and forth. A lot of history between these two. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see more of this matchup in the future. No doubt about that. I really like what they have going. Finlay and Jay White have excellent chemistry. And it's a matchup I would never get tired of, and it definitely showed. But Jay White did get the victory and retain, hit Blade Runner, and that's his first successful defense of the Never Openweight Championship. And he got on the mic, did a promo. Tomohiro Ishii came out as well. You know, he wants that title back, which, you know, Tomohiro Ishii's held that title, I think, a few times, but it's clear he wants that title back. Crowd was definitely on their feet for Switchblade Jay White there in California. Got a lot of love. He even greeted the fans in his entrance and such. So, you know, people are on fire for Switchblade Jay White. But great match. And then the second main event was for the IWGP United States Championship. The champ, Murder Hawk Monster, Lance Archer, defended against the ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi. This was a pretty decently long match. Not as long as the Never Openweight Championship match, but it was still a good length. And I tell you, these two put on a great match. But sure enough, Hiroshi Tanahashi, with a high fly flow, becomes your new IWGP United States champion. So this makes Tanahashi a Grand Slam champion. Of course, afterwards, Lance Archer got on the mic, congratulated Hiroshi Tanahashi, but challenged him to come to AEW so they can have another match. And if he still has that title, he wants his rematch. So, hey, maybe we'll see Hiroshi Tanahashi now that he's U.S. champ. Looks like we might be seeing Tanahashi in Impact Wrestling and AEW sometimes, you know? I would love that. I would love to see him defend the title in AEW. So, I guess this means that we may see a lot of traveling from the ace between now and going forward. I don't mind. I definitely don't mind. But congratulations to the ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi, who I've met in person. Amazing guy. But great card. Resurgence, definitely really good. But like I said, Moose versus Tomohiro Ishii, that was my favorite on the card. My overall favorite of this card. Good card. Good matches overall, but that was definitely match of the show for me. So now that that's in the books, let's take a look at what's coming up for New Japan going forward. Still got a little bit more of the Summer Struggle Tour to finish up, going up to the end of the month. And then, actually, tomorrow they got a NJPW Strong Fighting Spirit Unleashed. So, got that coming up. And then we got Wrestle Grand Slam in the MetLife Dome in September. And then September 18th, that's when the G1 Climax starts. And that goes all the way into October. NJPW Strong Autumn Attack is in September as well. So they got a couple of new shows coming up. New Japan Showdown as well. Wow. They got a lot. Got a lot coming up. Even going into November. Battle in the Valley, NJPW Strong, Detonation. Looks like they got a lot to look forward to in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Keep an eye out on them. Should be great. Should be great. Okay. Let's get into some AEW. Now, Dynamite. So, they started off with, and there was a lot that I had to catch up on with Dynamite because or actually no, that was with Rampage. I keep getting the two mixed up, but this is particularly Dynamite. So they started off, their first match was the Elite versus the Seidel's and Dante Martin. So you had Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks against the Seidel brothers and Dante Martin. And I tell you, AEW definitely has a way of kicking it off with an epic, epic match. And this did not disappoint. And I tell you, Dante Martin, more and more, that dude, like, even if like Top Flight doesn't work out, that man is gonna be like the next great high flyer. And I could see him having a good singles run in the future. I mean, he's young, he's got a lot to look forward to. But Dante Martin, that dude, I would love to see him and Ricochet go at it, or him and Will Ospreay go at it. Shoot, I'm loving Dante Martin. That dude is an insane high flyer, for reals. But of course, the Elite did get the victory, which I'm not surprised. I mean, gotta still keep the Elite looking strong in this situation. But had a moment afterwards with Christian Cage, and it has been noted that Christian Cage gets a shot at the Impact Wrestling World Championship on Rampage. Not only that, Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus get a shot next week for the AEW tag team titles held by the Young Bucks. So, thought that was pretty cool. And, nice little build up for Rampage, which I'll get to that in a moment. Then we had, of course, Miro had a video package aimed at Fuego del Sol, which is a setup for their match on Rampage where Fuego del Sol has to beat Miro in order to earn an AEW contract. We had Darby Allin with Sting versus Red Death Daniel Garcia, who was with 2.0. I have to say, this was actually a pretty dang on good match. This Daniel Garcia, which I believe he had a match on AEW Dark recently that he won. So, I mean, this Daniel Garcia is pretty dang on good. Pretty dang on good. And apparently, word is he had a 60-minute draw against Wheeler Yuta at an indie show. So I was like, dang, maybe this Daniel Garcia trying to make a name for himself in AEW. I can definitely dig that. It was back and forth, but Darby Allin was able to get the victory after the coffin drop. 2.0 tried to interfere, but Sting and Darby Allin pretty much fended them off. Pretty easily, too. But I'm really happy for 2.0. I mean, aka Everrise. Like I said, I know that things didn't go too well in WWE for them, but I'm happy that they're in AEW, and I hope they do well and keep pushing forward. He had a segment with Death Triangle backstage. More stirring the pot and trying to get Death Triangle to split. Which is the plan of Chavo Guerrero and Andre El Idolo. But pretty much Pac got the Lucha Bros to focus on getting those tag titles. And Pac to focus on Andrade. We had a trios match. We had Private Party and Matt Hardy versus Best Friends, made up of Chuck Taylor, Orange Cassidy, and Wheeler Yuta. This was a pretty good match, and like I said, Wheeler Yuta, that dude has been crazy busy. Either on AEW, New Japan, and the indie circuit, that dude is super freaking busy. But it was definitely a back and forth match. There was a lot going on. Not to mention, Nyla Rose came out and attacked Chris Statlander. So, which apparently they had a match later on that night, but Nyla Rose had to make a statement now during that match. So she came out and attacked Chris Statlander. Ultimately, Wheeler Yuta ate the Twist of Fate, and Matt Hardy got the pin for the Hardy family office. But this was a pretty chaotic match. Like I said, with the interference from Nyla Rose. And already they had the Hybrid 2, the Blade, and the Bunny ringside. So, yeah. Craziness. Had a moment with Andrade and Chavo pretty much calling Pac ungrateful. But yeah, Pac and Andrade have a match against each other at All Out. So that should be a lot of fun. Definitely looking forward to that. And then we did have our one-on-one match. Chris Statlander going up against the Native Beast Nyla Rose, who attacked her earlier. But Chris Statlander got her revenge and actually beat Nyla Rose in this match. It was back and forth. Chris Statlander hung in there, and she beat Nyla Rose. So if I remember correctly, 2 big matches, Nyla Rose has lost back-to-back. She lost her title shot match against Britt Baker, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and then she just lost to Chris Statlander. So, yeah, that's not normal for Nyla Rose. That is not normal. Anyway, big win for Chris Statlander. She continues to move up the ranks. You had the Young Bucks do a promo and, was going to shoot some b-ball. Went up for a layup. Rejected by Luchasaurus, not in my house. And then Jungle Boy got the ball and he dunked it. And that was a pretty funny segment, actually. It was a pretty funny backstage segment. But anyway, had an interview in the ring with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. She got on the mic. Red Velvet came out and attacked her. And they brawled for a bit. But you can definitely clearly see that Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, got the heroine's welcome. The hometown girl. There in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So, all those terrible towels, all the love. And like I said, that's where they also were for Rampage, which I'll get to in a moment. Anyway, we had the Impact Wrestling tag titles on the line as Evil Uno and Stu Grayson of the Dark Order got their shot against the Good Brothers, the current champs. And actually, there was a moment where Dark Order was looking like they could pull off the upset. But, of course, not so. Not so. Magic Killer did them in. 1, 2, 3. They did a little bit of dirty tactics involving the tag title, one of the tag titles, which doesn't surprise me. But sure enough, they were able to get the victory and retain their titles. But it was not easy for them. They had to definitely resort to the dirty tactics to get the victory. And then you got a segment with QT Marshall, Tony Schiavone, and Schiavone's son, where QT wanted an apology from Tony Schiavone, which took him a while to get him to apologize. They had to hold him and then make him watch QT Marshall in the factory pretty much get Schiavone's son and hit a cutter. He ended up hitting a cutter, a diamond cutter, on Tony Schiavone's son. Christopher Schiavone. Yeah, Christopher. But out of nowhere, Paul White, aka The Big Show, comes out pretty much to the rescue of the Schiavones. Aaron Solo got fed to Paul White, who laid him out with a thunderous chokeslam. So, who knows? Could we be seeing Paul White get back in the ring, this time on AEW soil? It is possible. But hey, we shall see. And the main event, oh man. The main event was labor number 4 of the 5 labors of Jericho, which was Wardlow versus Jericho with MJF at ringside. I guess I completely heard wrong. I thought it was supposed to be MJF as the special guest referee. That's what I thought I heard, but I guess that wasn't the case. It was just him at ringside, which, I mean, that's a cheesy 4th labor. That's the best that y'all can come up with? They kind of dropped the ball on that. But, you know, most of this match, Wardlow was beating the crap out of Jericho, and pretty much was just trying to inflict punishment after punishment. But Shawn Spears tried to come down and help. Or excuse me, this was actually after the match. But MJF was trying to, I guess, distract the referee, which of course is Aubrey Edwards. And then Jericho was able to wipe out Wardlow with the baseball bat and hit a Judas effect to get the victory. Shawn Spears came down to attack Jericho. Sammy Guevara came down, but Jericho got locked in the salt of the earth. Jake Hager came down to help even the odds and clear house. And then this is where MJF got on the mic and discussed the 5th labor, which of course MJF is the opponent. And the stipulation, wow, this is supposed to be the finale. The stipulation is Jericho cannot use the Judas effect finisher, nor can he come out during his ring entrance to his theme song of Judas. Can't have that thing. He has to come out to nothing. He has to come out to nothing. And if he uses the Judas effect at any time, MJF wins by default. So let's go back through these labors of Jericho. So the first one was Jericho versus Shawn Spears. Only Shawn Spears could use a chair. Okay, that was number 1. Number 2, it was a no disqualification match. Jericho versus Nick Gage. Number 3 was a match between Jericho and Juventud Guerrera, where Jericho had to win the match doing a high flying move or a move off the top rope. 4 was Jericho versus Wardlow. Wardlow would have MJF at ringside. And now, for this 5th and final labor, it's going to be Jericho versus MJF. Jericho cannot come out to the Judas entrance theme. He also cannot use the Judas effect finisher. And if he does, MJF wins by default. Looking at those 5 labors, kind of cheesy. Realistically, labor number 2 should have been number 4. That really should have been number 4 instead of number 2. The Nick Gage match, that should have been number 4 instead of number 2. So that's something they really kind of dropped the ball with on that. So I don't know. For this to be potentially the last matchup between MJF and Jericho, and this is the stipulation, it's just, I don't know. They could have come up with something a lot better. In all seriousness, they could have come up with something a lot better. And then we look ahead to Rampage, the debuting of AEW Rampage. Now, this wasn't a long show. It was only a few matches. But first, they ended up having the Impact Wrestling World Championship match first. Kenny Omega defending against Christian Cage. And I tell you, this match was excellent. And I believe this is the first time Christian and Kenny Omega have faced each other. Both fellow Canadians have faced each other. So, you best believe these two brought it. Christian looked great in the ring. Him and Kenny Omega, they have great chemistry. This was a very clean, crisp match. I really, to be honest, I really had no complaints with this match. I really didn't. Didn't have any complaints with this match. Now, the Young Bucks tried to interfere. They slid a chair in, and Kenny Omega was going to drop Christian onto the chair using the one-winged angel. But Christian got out of it and ended up hitting the kill switch on the chair. Hit the kill switch on Kenny Omega on the chair. Got it out of there. 1, 2, 3. And Christian Cage is your new Impact Wrestling World Champion. So not only is he still undefeated in AEW, he has stripped away one of Kenny Omega's championships. Not to mention, this was a championship that during his time in Impact Wrestling, when it was TNA, of course, never won. He was there, he had held the NWA World Championship, but not these titles. So, hey, congratulations to Christian Cage. And I see this as a way of him making some returns back into Impact Wrestling. So, I can dig it. I can definitely dig it. And who knows? Maybe one by one, little by little, Kenny Omega's going to start getting knocked off. So, hey, congratulations to Christian Cage. You still got it. Still look great. Excellent match. And then course, he got an interview with Mark Henry backstage. And we have to also remember, Christian's not done. Because remember, he has a title shot for the AEW World Championship at All Out against Kenny Omega. So we'll get to see these two run it back very soon, but for the AEW title. But I can tell you right now, I honestly don't think Christian's gonna win that. I think he'll lose that match, but I expect a great follow up in their match then. Okay. Then we have the TNT Championship on the line as Miro defended the title against Fuego del Sol. Not only if Fuego del Sol wins the title, he also wins an AEW contract. He gave it a good effort. Went on the offensive early, tried to do the preemptive attack, worked for a bit, was hitting tornado DDT after tornado DDT, but just was not enough. Gave it a good effort, but then later got destroyed by Miro. Got him with that Machka kick, locked in the game over. Soon as he pulled and wrenched it back, instant tap out. Poor Fuego del Sol. Miro took the contract, ripped it up. But, sure enough, out comes Sammy Guevara and Tony Khan, who hands him a clipboard to take to Fuego del Sol. Sammy Guevara got on the mic. Hey, I know you lost. I know you lost like 50 times. But the fact that you keep fighting and getting back up, showing your passion, all that. Despite everything, you're my best friend. So it's only appropriate for me to give you the news that you are all elite. And he hands Fuego del Sol a fresh AEW talent contract they embrace. So Fuego del Sol, despite losing, has become all elite. So congratulations to him. And it's clear that he's a fan favorite. He's definitely got a fan base. And we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see what happens going forward. See if they continue to build him up. He does have one victory. But we'll have to see what happens. But it's good to see that he got a contract anyway. Despite losing, still got a contract. So congratulations to Fuego del Sol. And then we have the main event in Pittsburgh for Rampage. The AEW Women's World Championship. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, defended against Miss Stir It Up, 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 Red Velvet. Now, I have to say, this was actually a good match. I know a lot of people were like, not really match I was looking forward to. I mean, it's Red Velvet. You have to remember, Red Velvet's been improving, and she had been on a win streak. And honestly, this was a dang on good match. This was a good match. Red Velvet was trying to exploit Britt Baker's wrist injury. Had the padded arm wrap or arm hand brace, so she was trying to expose and use that. And it was just really great to see these two ladies in the main event go at it. Of course, Britt Baker had the hometown welcome. So, of course, everybody was on her side. They were booing Red Velvet. And, it was clearly back and forth. These ladies were tearing each other up. But it got to a moment where a few times Britt Baker tried to put in lockjaw on Red Velvet, but Red Velvet was able to break out of it, including attacking that wrist to break out of it. And then there was even a point where Red Velvet tried to add insult by attempting to put Britt Baker into the lockjaw. But that got countered. And while Britt Baker was trying again once more for another lockjaw, she was able to use the good arm and one of her legs, or actually both her legs, to double arm lock Red Velvet so that she could use the good hand to get down on that mandible and put in the lockjaw, a modified version of lockjaw, and was able to get Red Velvet to tap out. And Britt Baker in her second title defense, still your AEW Women's World Champion. So she's beaten Nyla Rose and she's beaten Red Velvet. Now, after the match, Britt Baker was like, no, I'm not done. Started to attack Red Velvet some more. Because, I mean, outside of this being in Pittsburgh, I mean, Red Velvet is still the face. Or still a face. Chris Statlander comes down to help even the odds, attacks Britt Baker, and then out of nowhere, Jamie Hayter arrives and takes out Chris Statlander. And Jamie Hayter and Dr. Britt Baker DMD stand side by side. And apparently it's been made plain and clear that Jamie Hayter is all elite. Now, Jamie Hayter, I have not seen Jamie Hayter in a while. In a long while. Last time I remember seeing Jamie Hayter, she was in Stardom with Oedo Tai like a number of years ago. Yeah, that's what I remember. Cause she was her and B Presley were on Oedo Tai. And I remember that for a while, B and Jamie couldn't make it to Stardom shows due to the pandemic. And of course, eventually B ended up returning to Stardom. But yeah, Jamie Hayter was with Oedo Tai when I last saw her. That was a couple of years ago. I think that was 2019, maybe. Yeah, 2019, 2018, something like that. But as it got into 2020, she wasn't able to continue because of the pandemic. But wow. Yeah. Jamie Hayter is now all elite and is standing by the side of Dr. Britt Baker DMD. So maybe they'll go into a little more detail about this relationship, this partnership with Britt Baker. This ought to be really interesting. And that does it for the debuting AEW Rampage, which will be on Friday nights, 10 p.m. It does make me wonder, though, so now they have AEW Dark Elevation, Dynamite, and now Rampage. So that's 4 shows, and then you have to also factor in, when they have their pay-per-views, which is like 4 or 5 a year. So that's a lot of content. Whole lot of content. When I went to the AEW Dynamite Fight for the Fallen in Charlotte, they ended up giving us 4 hours of wrestling. Recorded Dark Elevation in the beginning. Then Dynamite was live. And then they finished with the recording of Dark, which was the 100th episode of Dark. So, yeah, that's a lot of content. It's a whole lot of content. But that does it for AEW. So let's look at some WWE, I guess. Ugh. So had Drew McIntyre go up against Baron Corbin. I mean, what do you what'd you expect? Baron Corbin ain't winning anything anytime soon. Then you had Karrion Kross versus Jeff Hardy, which Karrion Kross avenged his loss against Jeff Hardy. Was able to put him to sleep to the cross jacket. Gave him another one after the match. But of course they're going to keep Karrion Kross strong as we get ready to enter to take over 36, where he defends the NXT Championship against Samoa Joe. Had Alexa Bliss versus Doudrop, which Doudrop got rolled up by Little Miss Bliss. Oh, man. Oh, that. She got rolled up by Little Miss Bliss. Of course, and her doll winked. Lily winked. Oh, my goodness gracious. Ricochet had a United States Championship opportunity against Sheamus. But Sheamus retained. Brogue kick. And Damian Priest made his appearance. Because Damian Priest is supposed to be due for United States Championship opportunity. Damian Priest did have some action. Went up against Johnny Drip Drip. And he beat Johnny Drip Drip. We had T-Bar versus Mustafa Ali, which I didn't even catch. I didn't even catch that match, to be honest with you. But apparently, T-Bar beat Mustafa Ali. Bobby Lashley did a promo for SummerSlam. You know, he's got the title match against Oldberg. And pretty much proclaimed that he was done at SummerSlam. Which is probably a true statement, but yeah. And then we had Raw Women's Champion Nikki Ash, almost a superhero, taking on Rhea Ripley. But, of course, it didn't last long. Ended in a no contest when Charlotte Flair intervened and took both ladies out and held up the Raw Women's title. She wants her title back, which she'll have an opportunity at SummerSlam. You had and apparently the main event was Randy Orton versus AJ Styles. Randy Orton beat AJ Styles. And then afterwards, to end the night, Randy Orton gave an RKO to Mr. Riddle. But he kind of smiled afterwards. Like, it wasn't to be nasty, wasn't to be taken personal, but just to kind of sort of laugh. I mean, because he was smiling after he hit Riddle with that RKO, so. Little harm done. Just an RKO, a friendly RKO out of nowhere. But that was Raw. Like I said, I didn't catch a lot of it, and it's a good thing I didn't. NXT. NXT was okay. So here's the scoop with NXT. Now we were supposed to have Ember Moon versus Saray, but it came up that Saray, or not Saray, Ember Moon wasn't medically cleared to compete. So Dakota Kai ended up being the replacement and ended up wrestling Saray. This was the first match, and I have to say, these ladies had a great match. It was actually a decently long match between Dakota Kai and Saray. Of course, Dakota Kai is the number one contender. And yeah, it was back and forth. It really could have gone either way, but Dakota Kai caught Saray the running Yakuza kick and pinned Saray fair and square. She legit beat Saray clean, fair and square. And I know a lot of people, and of course, afterwards, she was going to attack Saray again, but Raquel Gonzalez came in and pretty much chased after Dakota Kai, scared her off, and pretty much proclaimed that she was pretty much going to take her out and finish her at TakeOver 36. Now I know a lot of people, I saw a lot of the YouTube and Twitter comments saying, oh man, Saray is buried now. She lost. Saray is buried. No, she's not. Y'all have to remember, Dakota Kai is the number one contender to the NXT Women's title. They had to keep her strong. They had to keep her with some sort of momentum going into TakeOver 36 where she has her title match. Not only that, Saray won't go be undefeated forever. You have to also look at the people she's gone up against. Like, she just went up against Dakota Kai, who's a formidable opponent. You know, I know that they, were building up Saray a little bit. She didn't get the match with Toni Storm. I would have loved to see her still wrestle Ember Moon at some point. But y'all, Saray is 4-1. She is not buried. I guess 5-1 if you include the tag team match she had with Zoe Stark. She is not buried. She's not buried. Yes, Saray can lose a match too. Not to mention she lost to Dakota Kai, the number one contender. It's not like she lost to some jobber. It's like, dang, y'all need to chill. I mean, I understand some folks saying they could have given her a different opponent than Dakota Kai to keep her strong. Okay, fair argument. But still, Dakota Kai and Saray had an excellent match. To start off NXT, that was an excellent match between these two ladies. And yeah, okay, Saray lost. That does not ruin her. She's not ruined. Come on, y'all. She lost to the number one contender. It's basic logic. Anyway. At LA Knight had a match against Andre Chase, aka Harlem Bravado. He beat him. And then afterwards, of course, Cameron Grimes is still his butler. Afterwards, $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase came out and once again, with a sense of urgency, was just like, dude, Cameron, dude, you gotta fix this. I know you're a man of your word, but dude, you can't keep letting LA Knight treat you like this. Can't let him walk all over you like this. So then the stakes were raised quite a bit. So this led to a match being set for TakeOver 36. So LA Knight will defend the $1 Million Championship against Cameron Grimes. And if Cameron Grimes loses, then Ted DiBiase will become LA Knight's new butler. So this is going to be interesting here. If he loses, he has to become. If Cameron Grimes loses, Ted DiBiase has to be the new butler for LA Knight. This ought to get really interesting. There was also a segment where we had a couple of segments tonight. We had Hit Row and Swerve burning a luchador mask. We had MSK do a nice little promo to fire back at Imperium. Looking forward to seeing that matchup. Yeah, Gigi Dolan had a match against Amari Miller, and she beat her with some sort of like leg and arm trap flipping crucifix, something like that. It was very unique. It was very unique. But Gigi Dolan, she's been getting some vignettes, and it looks like they're going to start building her up on NXT. So that's cool. Building up another fresh superstar. Of course, you know, Gigi Dolan's also Priscilla Kelly, but it's good to see that they're going to start building her up. So I like what they're doing. And then we had a segment where Mr. Regal set the stipulations in the match between Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole for the third time at NXT TakeOver 36. So, this will be a 3 stages of hell match where Cole and O'Reilly both got a chance to pick a type of match, with Mr. Regal determining the third match. Now, this is a 2 out of 3 falls match. Kyle O'Reilly, the type of match that he picked was a normal match. It was just a regular normal match because he felt like Adam Cole cannot beat Kyle O'Reilly in a normal match. Adam Cole, the type of match he picked was a street fight. So he picked a street fight. And then the third match, if it comes to a third match, which it most likely will. Third match, Mr. Regal picked a steel cage match. Definitely can dig this. Looking forward to this final showdown. And like I said, this is most likely how they're going to write off Adam Cole. Because I don't expect him to win this. I don't. But I'm thinking this is how they write off Adam Cole. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We had the NXT Breakout Tournament semifinal match. Odyssey Jones versus Trey Baxter. I was kind of rooting for the underdog in Trey Baxter since he was the small guy. But, of course, Odyssey Jones ended up getting the victory. And he moves on to the finals. So, that's what's up. He looks to be a fan favorite as well. Had a post-match interview, said hi to his mom. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, so Odyssey Jones is in the finals. We had Boa wrestle. That was a surprise. Got to see Boa wrestle. He went up against Drake Maverick. He beat Drake Maverick. Of course, Mei Ying had to help though by spraying the dust or the mist into Drake Maverick's face. I really would have loved to have seen Boa win this match clean without interference. Because it's good to see him wrestle, but I want to see him wrestle more and actually win matches without Mei Ying interfering. So that was just the only thing about that match. Now Ilya Dragunov earlier came out, did a promo about Walter. Pete Dunne, the Bruiserweight, came out, talked some smack, and it's set up for the main event match of the evening. Pete Dunne versus Ilya Dragunov. And let me tell you, this was an amazing main event. I loved this main event. This main event was so awesome. Definitely enjoyed it. It was back and forth. Walter did interfere, make a distraction, and it looked like Ilya Dragunov was going to overcome it, but as he was going in for a Torpedo Moscow, he got decked in the face, and then Pete Dunne hit him with the bitter end, got the 1-2-3 on Ilya Dragunov. Now, Walter came into the ring and Pete Dunne left. And it's funny. It's really funny because Pete Dunne was who Walter originally beat to win the title in the first place, and they were just in the ring together. I just think that's funny. So ironic. Walter went to go punish Ilya Dragunov some more, was going to put him in that sleeper again, but Ilya Dragunov fought it off and hit Walter with the Torpedo Moscow. And stand strong in the ring with the NXT UK Championship. So definitely looking forward to that clash between Ilya Dragunov and Walter at NXT TakeOver 36 for the United Kingdom title. Pretty decent episode of NXT. Pretty decent episode. Okay, NXT UK. NXT UK was not a good day for subculture. Not only did Flash Morgan Webster lose against Wolfgang, which was a good match, which was definitely a good match. It was back and forth, definitely a really good match. But Mark Andrews lost his Heritage Cup tournament match against Noam Dar. Oh, man. It is not looking good for subculture. But, it was back and forth. It was still a good Heritage Cup match. I thought that he was going to be able to, Mark Andrews, I thought he was going to be able to perhaps some way, somehow pull it off. But, let's see. Noam Dar got the first fall by using a knee bar to force Mark Andrews into submission. Then Mark Andrews got the next fall where he reversed a knee bar attempt, got the roll up. But then Noam Dar got the third and final fall after he was able to blast him with a Nova Rolla. So Noam Dar advances in the number one contender tournament for the Heritage Cup. We also had Nina Samuels versus Amale, and Amale actually beat Nina Samuels, which, I guess it could have gone either way. These are two heels going against each other. But it actually could have gone either way. But Amel was able to get the heartbreaker spinebuster and defeat Nina Samuels. So looks like they're building up Amel quite a bit to be another heel. They also had a segment with Stevie Turner and Meiko Satomura, which next week Stevie Turner will get her NXT UK Women's Championship opportunity. But, she tried to taunt Meiko Satomura during a training session. But should be a good match. Actually, should be a really good match. More Meiko Satomura. Yay. But, decent episode of NXT UK. Just not a good episode for subculture. That's for sure. Friday Night SmackDown. Which I didn't catch much of this, so I had to rely on highlights. But from what I caught of the segment with Cena and Reigns, was just how Cena was just talking about how all it takes is 1, 2, 3. Regardless of what happens, how the match is, all it takes is a 1, 2, 3. So that's pretty much what I caught of that, which, like I said, I caught up mainly through doing the YouTube highlights. Because, like I said, I wasn't home for SmackDown. I saw that Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Apollo Crews and is once again Intercontinental Champion. So now, looking at his resume, I believe Shinsuke is now a 2-time Intercontinental Champion and a 2-time United States Champion. So they're just keeping Shinsuke in the realm of the mid card. It's kind of ridiculous, to be honest with you. It's like, dang, can we start putting him in the picture for the main title? Seriously? Especially considering the dude is also a 2-time NXT champion. He's won the Royal Rumble. Can we get him back in the main title picture instead of keeping him as a mid card? Seriously. They had the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy, which the Street Profits were able to get the victory. Angelo Dawkins hit the corkscrew neck breaker on Mr. Gable to get the victory for Street Profits. So Street Profits back on top. You can definitely dig it. Seth Rollins had a promo. Came out to the ring, cut a promo about Edge. Pretty much promising to hit Edge with the curb stomp. So his suit wasn't that bad. Still kind of bad, but it wasn't that bad. And then the Mysterios had a tag match against Mr. Ziggles and Robert Roode, the Dirty Dogs, which they were actually able to beat Roode and Mr. Ziggles. So it was definitely a night for the faces, it seems. Definitely a night for the faces as far as matches. Then Kevin Owens and Baron Corbin had a match where Kevin Owens made a deal with Baron Corbin because, he was begging for money, and so he made a deal that if he could beat Kevin Owens would give him $1,000. But if he lost, then he can no longer beg from the WWE Universe or anybody like that for money and stop complaining and figure it out on his own. And sure enough, Baron Corbin still lost. Oh, man. Not only that, he lost, but he also ate another stunner after the loss. And then, sure enough, as Baron Corbin was going to the back, looking down and dejected, about to do an interview, and then he sees Big E and the Money in the Bank briefcase, and he ends up running really fast, stealing the Money in the briefcase and leaving the arena. So I'm guessing now they're going to have some angle where I guess Baron Corbin believes that he can just cash in the Money in the Bank and win the title since it's in his possession. They're probably going to do some dumb angle like that. I mean, which is pretty much as bad as what they did with Otis, who was last year's Money in the Bank holder and then ended up getting turned over to The Miz. Just, this is why I don't like Money in the Bank. I really don't. I really don't like Money in the Bank. Then the night finished off with a contract signing. Bianca and Sasha. They were arguing and yelling back and forth. And it led to Sasha bringing out some of her friends in the form of Carmella and Zelina Vega. And they all pretty much tried to triple team her. And while Bianca had, fought off a few of them for a while, Sasha Banks, after hitting a backstabber, that pretty much settled it. And she ended up putting Bianca Belair in the bank statement with her own hair braid. Just to add insult to injury. Dang, had her own hair in her mouth. That was just, dang, that's savage. But yeah, like, statement made. Statement definitely made. But that was SmackDown. And I guess I'll talk a little bit about the WWE Supershow that I went to this past Saturday. This was at the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. Spectrum Center is where the Charlotte Hornets play their home game. And I went with my dad, my brother, and my nephew. This was my nephew's first live WWE show. So he enjoyed himself. He was very excited. And he definitely enjoyed himself. And I'm happy for him. My thoughts on the show, it was okay. It was okay. So of course, because it's WWE Super Show, it's not like a live show. There was no pyro, nothing like that. No camera crew, no commentary. Folks that competed was a number of SmackDown and Raw talent. But pretty much this was what the card was, and I'll just run through it quickly. First, it was we had Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin. Of course, Finn won. We had Big E versus Seth Rollins. Big E won. We had Damian Priest versus Sheamus for the U.S. title, which that ended in a DQ when Jinder Mahal came out and attacked Damian Priest. Then Drew McIntyre came out to the rescue, and then this match ended up turning into a tag team match. Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal and Sheamus, which Drew and Priest ended up winning. We had the New Day, Kofi and Xavier going up against Bobby Lashley and MVP. Yeah, MVP wrestled. And the New Day actually won. Actually won this match. And they gave Kofi, the fans and everybody, they gave Kofi a big happy birthday song. So that was pretty cool. It was Kofi's birthday. We had the Raw tag titles on the line as AJ Styles and Omos took on RK Bro, Riddle and Randy Orton. Although it took Randy Orton a while before he finally came out. But still started the match together. And Randy got busted open. But, of course, AJ Styles and Omos retained. You had... So, we were supposed to get Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair for the show, but due to unforeseen circumstances, Bianca and Sasha couldn't be there. Supposedly, word is that flights were canceled and such, so it could have been a travel issue. And Charlotte was actually at the AAA Mania show with her fiance and her dad, Andrade El Idolo and Ric Flair, which it's kind of a bummer because if I remember correctly, she was advertised for WWE Supershow. And I mean, after all, I mean, it was in Charlotte, North Carolina, the Queen City. So, yeah, it just was kind of a bummer. Only had one women's match, which was the Raw Women's Championship match, which was Rhea Ripley versus Nikki ASH, which Nikki won. Was not a long match at all. Really wasn't a long match. But during the whole entire time, crowd was chanting, was chanting for Charlotte and was doing woos for Charlotte. But no Charlotte. And then the main event was the Usos and Roman Reigns, the Bloodline, going up against the Mysterios, Dominic and Rey Mysterio, and John Cena. John Cena, he pretty much didn't get into the match until pretty much right at the end. And of course, Cena and the Mysterios ended up winning. But yeah, it wasn't until the last moment where Cena finally got tagged in and then everybody erupted and he didn't really wrestle that much in this match. So, I mean, I guess, John Cena is just doing a little bit so that he's good and ready to go for SummerSlam. Because, in these live shows and these house shows, they're not going to do too much. I mean, they're going to do, a couple of things. They're going to rehearse a couple of things. That's why they have these shows. But really, the best you'll see, on camera on the Raw and the SmackDown and the pay-per-views. Well, not so much Raw, but being that this was a show that had no commentary, no pyro, no cameras, they were able to, do some things, try some things. But overall, it was an okay show. I mean, definitely no comparison to when I went to AEW. Oh, they don't even belong in the same sentence. But my nephew had fun. He had tons of fun. He enjoyed it. He was cheering. He was very much into it. So he's happy. I'm happy. It was a nice family outing. I mean, not the best show, but hey, it was a nice family outing. So it was all good. But okay. Wow. That's all for tonight. Man, we talked a lot. But this was good. This was really good. And like I said, this week, of course, we got the go home shows for Raw, SmackDown, NXT UK. As this coming weekend is SummerSlam and NXT TakeOver 36. SummerSlam on Saturday, TakeOver 36 on Sunday. So got a lot to look forward to with that. Going to continue with the 5-Star Grand Prix for Stardom. They're going to finish up the New Japan Pro Wrestling Super Junior tag league. So got a lot to look forward to, ladies and gentlemen. But until then, thank y'all so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about what we discussed tonight. Hit the notification bell so you can catch every video. Thank you for your time. Thank you for spending time with me, hanging out with me. Thank you for watching. This is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram bringing at you yet another pro wrestling talk brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. Hope everybody has a blessed week, and I will see y'all soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.